What's up, guys? So today we're doing a lifting video. Joe and I, we're gonna do some bench press. I'm doing some dumbbell bench press. He's doing the barbell. He's gonna go up to a heavy max. I'm gonna do some reps. We're gonna start today's questions off with KC Masterbro, who says, is that the same facility as our BJJ gym? He says, looks awesome either way. Yes, actually, so if we just do a quick turnabout, we're actually doing some renovations right now, so don't mind those. But then if you follow me over this way, this is our main mat. So I've got another mat on the other side too, but this is the main mat, and that right up front is typically where you see me doing some of the videos. If it's not there, it's back in my office. So yes, it's part of the same gym, KC Masterbro. Today's Friday, so I do an Ask Me Anything on Instagram, and one of the questions I got from one of the guys here says, have you ever considered doing a training camp at your school in Louisville? I have, and Joe and I are thinking about putting something together, maybe like later on next year, sometimes in the warmer months, maybe doing a training camp here in the gym where we'll do some jiu-jitsu. I'll have some other instructors come up as well. Joe can teach you guys some strength training stuff, and we could have Eugene, the jiu-jitsu therapist, teach you guys some recovery, rehab, and like stuff like that. He can do some assessments on your body. So more details on that another time. This one's from Stephen Choi. He says, do you train through injury? So Joe, you were pretty good. You were talking about that the other day, so I'll let Joe answer that one. He was talking to his coach about it the other day.
Well, the day I have a great Olympic weightlifting coach, and we're doing some back squats. My knees just felt junky, bailed out of them. I'm not doing these today. In athletics, what happens in a lot of people's mind is if you're not training, you're falling behind. But you got to remember, we all have these injuries that we all go through, and everybody's having to take time off on them. So don't train through injuries, train around injuries, okay? But you have to give your body time to recover so that you can come back stronger and still begin to make progress, but you should never train through an injury.
This comes from JJ Donnelly. He says, if you only had 3 days to lift per week, what kind of split would you recommend? So I think we're probably gonna have similar answers on this, but what would you do with, not what you think people would do,
yeah,
but what would you do?
Me personally, like especially if jiu-jitsu is focused, 3 days a week, I'm gonna do one day that's more of a push-pull, focused on a lot of compound movements, bench press. God, that's why I started stepping to the side. I was getting weirded out. Bench press, a lot of strict pull-ups, a lot of lat exercises, a lot of push, overhead. Push, I do a push-pull day on one day. I would do another day that is a lot of squat and pull off the floor, like squat, deadlifts, RDLs, etc. And I would have one day of some capacity conditioning there, some odd objects, some sled pushes, some cardio. What the hell is cardio? I started to say cardio and interval at the same time, so I said cardio. So we could actually patent that word, cardio and interval training. So I was more Tabata style training.
Carnival training.
Carnival training.
Very similar. I like to, I've tried it earlier this summer. I was doing more of like a more of a bodybuilding split because I'd never really done one before, so I wanted to play around with it. And I didn't like it. So I like to do kind of a push-pull. It's more of like an upper body, do a lower, upper and a lower. Yeah. And then on the third day, the one thing I've been doing recently, this has honestly been what my routine's been like, is an upper and a lower day. And then on one day a week, my buddy Ryan Hurst, he runs this thing called GMB. It's gold medal bodies, and basically it's all these like movement drills and stuff like that. And so I'll take like one day a week, and for like an hour I'll go over there and do all these different animal crawls and movements and stuff, just to try to put a little bit more, like, just to kind of have some fun with it. The one caveat to that I'll say is, like, sometimes I'll get up on a Sunday and like I'm just kind of sitting around the house, I'm like, man, I kind of want to go lift, and I'll go to we got a Globo gym right down the street from us that I have a membership to, where I can do belt squats and use a sauna, and I'll go in there and just like bro out a little bit extra. So sometimes I'll go in there and do that on a Sunday just in case, but usually it's like 3 days of working out, sometimes 4.
295.
So I got a question from Camacho TKD BJJ. He says, advice for new gym owners. Man, new gym owners, I remember that. Joe, again, if you guys are unfamiliar, is my business partner, and so we own this gym. Gym owners, something brand new for you. It's not gonna look like you think it's gonna look like, right? Like when I got into this thing, I like had these dreams and aspirations that I was shooting after, which, I mean, obviously most of those have come true, but things didn't exactly happen like I wanted them to. Like, I had an intention set and it happened a little bit differently. And also, take that same energy, this will be the big thing I'd say, is take that same energy that you put towards your training and your rolling and all that other stuff, and put it towards learning other sides of the business. Because one thing that we see all the time, because Joe and I are kind of cool, like in the fact that we're like polar opposites. We're two different people, and we respect that and understand that, but it works really well because he covers my gaps, like the things I suck at, he's good at those, and the things that like he sucks at, I'm good at, and we kind of work together. Is you have to dive down, and when we'll go to gyms, we'll see like these gyms that are like doing horribly because, you know, they have a great instructor, they have someone that's really knowledgeable, but then they don't know what they're doing as far as like working with like new members. They don't know how to bring in people through marketing or through like this. They have no system for the way that they handle people coming in. There's just nothing. It's just like, you know, they have this idea that if I open it, they will come. And it just doesn't work that way. And there's a lot more to it, but I would say really invest yourself in learning the business and starting to dive into that. There's a lot of questions that you could get into, but for the sake of this video, that would be my advice. It's not gonna look like you think it's gonna look, and really invest your time and energy, not just in training, right, but also into the business side of things so that you can develop a really good gym that will serve you, but then this way you can serve people better, because ultimately that's what we're here to do, right? We have a gym open so this way we can bring people in and give them this amazing place that they can be a part of. So,
but then most people just open up a gym honestly so that they think they can just train more since they're working in a gym.
Yeah, that's right.
They really do. They open a gym thinking they can train more because they're in the gym. But when you turn your passion and your hobby into your financial support system, a lot of things change.
You gotta do what you gotta do, man. You know, if you're the gym owner, then you're like the dad, the mom, the parent of the gym, right? So your parents have to do stuff that they don't want to do to raise you. So as the kind of the owner of the gym, you got to do things sometimes that aren't going to be the most fun, but they're going to be the things that, you know, you can do to help them. And the last thing I'll say, I'm just throwing stuff out there. Find the line between business and sort of the personal side. Because I've had business guys that were successful in other businesses outside of this kind of stuff, try to give me business advice. One of them even opened up a gym on the other end of town. The gym closed down in 6 months. So, you know, he was a business guy, he was successful in multiple businesses, but he looked at it solely as dollars and cents instead of this thing where with this community, right? And I can tell you that, you know, again, you want the gym to be successful because you don't want to be stressed about, can you keep the lights on this month or whatever, because you're not going to be able to serve your members the best that way. But at the same time, you don't want to go so far on the business end that when people come in, the only thing you're doing is looking at those people's like dollar signs. Because I can tell you that I have a lot of people in this gym that have come from other gyms that came here solely because they were like, yeah, when I was at the gym, I felt like I was a dollar sign. That's all I felt like, right? So again, if that's the way that you feel, it's solely for money, go find something else to do, right? You know, you can make such a positive impact on people's lives and change them. Make that the focus and find the way to make the money happen, but don't ever cross that line solely into the business realm.
We can cross a lot of lines here, just not that one.
Jack Mullihan says pancakes or waffles. My vote goes to the one that I consume more of, which is pancakes. Actually, I'll tell you this, I make this really good pancake. You take a banana, I'll take about 2 bananas, 1 date, 2 egg whites, and I put them in the blender and I blend them for a little bit till they get real thick. And I'll take those and I put them, you don't need anything else, right? And then you grease your pan with whatever you want and then fry those. Those are delicious. Like banana date pancakes, they're so good. You don't need any syrup or anything. I'll put a little bit of almond butter on them, but those are delicious. I showed them to Chad and one of my blue belts, Billy, when we were down, or when we were up at the trials. And Chad's Instagram, like every day, he's like, making banana pancakes.
I see.
Yeah.
For me, it really would just depend on where we're getting pancakes or waffles. Unlike Chewy, I don't cook for shit. I like them both, man. Can we just do both? What if we just, can we add crepes in? It's the little French pancakes, you know, the little tiny ones. Nobody? Ricky Bobby? No. I like crepes. I don't know, man. Can I have both?
So this one comes from Sleeved Poppy. My home gym closed down. I signed up with a new one. Did I make the right choice? You didn't have any other choice, man. Kind of going back to the gym business thing, this is one of the things where like, I've worked with a few gym owners before, man, and it's like, it stinks because you get guys that are really passionate about training and passionate about having a gym, but then they don't know how to like actually run the business side of it. Because we get training in jiu-jitsu. No one really trains how to run a good class. No one trains on how to like get people to come in. Nobody trains on how do you deal with leads.
They'll go to jiu-jitsu seminars, but no business seminars.
Exactly, right? Exactly. So you get training on that, but you don't get that. And the thing is I feel like most of us, if you're like me and you're here to serve people, right? You're here to like get on the mats of people and really build them up as best you can. I feel like we have a duty to them to run a good gym and keep it open. Because again, like, you probably have good intentions. You probably want to make a positive impact on someone's life, and you can't do it if you can't keep the damn doors open. Because then you have situations like that where the guy comes in, I'm so excited, I got this thing that I love to do, and I got these people that are amazing, and then boom, the gym closed down. And now it's like, I don't know what to do, right? I've seen it happen so many times, both in person and even just from the questions I get from you guys. Here's another thing: if you're gonna be a gym owner, and I'm not trying to turn this workout video into this, but if you're gonna be a gym owner, make sure that you really take it with take it with seriousness, right? It's not something to just play around with, because obviously you know what it means to you to do jiu-jitsu, right? It's probably changed your life. You don't want to just play around with that, just frivolously. You should feel very like honored to have that opportunity, and it should be very serious to you, and you should take it as such. So don't just play around with it like, I guess I'll open a gym. It should be like, no, I got to do this to help people out, that kind of thing. So you made the right choice.
Get it. I'll try one. Wait a minute, try it again.
Watch my elbows after the lift off, and right when they come up, watch them shift. See how they move back?
Like this, yeah. So guys, you watching that video, did you notice that I didn't touch the bar until he said get it? Unless you see that bar coming crashing down and you can see that there's something wrong, or if the person says get it, right? One of those things are happening, like where you need to get it, or they're saying get it, don't touch the bar. That's the fastest way to like piss off a good lifter, because if you touch the bar, it's considered like a no lift, right? So you just leave the bar alone.
Not even the whole fingertip.
Yeah, you don't have the fingertip. Yeah. You don't even touch it. Like, you just keep your hands back, and if they say get it, you get in and snatch it up. Otherwise, just leave it back. I got it.
Get it? Yeah.
Like, you probably ain't gonna be able to see it on his camera, but if you watch after my lift off right here, on the way back up, my elbow comes out and behind the bar when your elbow needs to stay either under or in front of the bar the whole time on a bench press. And that's exactly when I noticed it. And I tell Chewy to get it because I knew I've missed the lift. I record all of my lifts, whether I'm doing back squats, bench press, deadlifts, especially my Olympic lifts. This way you have a tool to go back. You can have a second person look at it, try to evaluate what's wrong, go back and fix it. I missed the first attempt at 365, knew what I did wrong, went into it the second time, got the lift because I knew what to fix.
Got one that says it's from MW or M Waddick. It says, how do you stop outside influences, like a failed job interview or something like that, from messing up your jiu-jitsu? Everybody's got their way of dealing with stuff. For me, whenever I screw up big time on something, right, like outside of the gym, my escape from it is to come train, right? So that's the way that I deal with it, is I go and train, I lift weights, I'll go, do jiu-jitsu and roll, whatever, and then afterwards, typically after I get that nice workout in, I get that release, I'm able to kind of look at the situation a little bit more clearly. One of my old mentors named Jim, he used to own a gym. Jim owned a gym, right? JIM owned a GYM, and it was back in the day when I hung around this guy from like 18 to 21, and he told me that he never made any major decision in his life until after he'd worked out. So anytime he had some stress on him or whatever, he said I would always go get a good workout in, and after I was done working out, after I had all the endorphins in, I would think about, okay, what do I need to do? And so for me, you might be different, but for me, I lift weights or train or do something to sort of cope with it, and it seems to help me. So guys, thank you for joining us today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. We didn't get too much into the tips. If you guys have weight lifting tips or weight training tips, put them down in the comments below so that we can answer them from you. That's it. So guys, hope you had a good time. Joe?
I have been taking the time to go through and answer any of the questions on Chewy's channel I can regarding your strength and conditioning as well, guys. So like you said, just leave those below. I'll be more than happy to get to those as I can. And I'll lift Chewy.
But you can't whoop me, Joe.